Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Mr. Eiler. I am helping Ms. Marino with some of the stuff for AP Environmental Science. I'd like to say good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, wherever we are. I am very different from her. I happen to have much more hair on the bottom of my head than I do on the top. So there's my picture. Yeah. So anyway, here we go. We're going to start with the chapter 1, doing the math. It's titled, What is a Hectare? So go ahead and find that in the book. Go ahead and pause me right now while you're finding that, and then as soon as you find it, go ahead and start me up again. All right, I'm going to assume we're all there. Now, for some of you, this is going to be very easy. For some of you, this is going to be very hard. It depends on how much you like math and whatnot. But this is a lot of what we do in this class. So if this flows pretty well for you, that's fantastic. If not, don't panic. We're going to have lots and lots of practice. So we'll definitely get you there. All right. After reading through that, the problem is kind of broken into 3 bits. It wants to know, the first part is how many square feet in an acre. Next one is how many hectares in a square kilometer. And number 3 is how many acres in a hectare. Now, first things first. A hectare has absolutely nothing to do with an acre. They are not connected. The only difference is that in America, we talk about acres in general, and in, well, I guess the rest of the planet, they pretty much use hectares. But there's truly no connection other than they're kind of, the end of the words are spelled almost the same. But other than that, nothing. Okay? So don't connect them in your head. So let's do some math. So there's a huge trick that you're going to use for the math problem in environmental science. And what they're going to do is this. They're going to give you 2 things that are equal to each other. All right? And you're going to do the same thing. Okay? This is about 90% of the math, of all the math on the environmental science exam. Here's what you're going to do. If those 2 things are equal, it means that if I write them as a fraction, like this, okay, that fraction, if those 2 things are equal, equals the number 1. So I can take that fraction and multiply it by anything I want, and I didn't change anything. Second idea, I can do it upside down as well. Right? 1 mile. It's still 1, whichever one of those I decide to put on top. And therefore I can still multiply it, excuse me, to anything, and I haven't changed the problem. Okay? That's what they do in this whole problem. So, look at problem number 1. It turns out that both of these 2 things inside the parentheses are 1. So this guy here really is the number 1, and this guy is the number 1. Now, usually in our problems, we're not going to have 1 times 1. We're going to have something else. We're going to have 27 cows, or 15 people, or 27 pounds of CO2 or something. And then we're going to multiply it by a number, that's a 1, and get something different out of it. Does that make sense? So basically, if you've had chemistry, this is called stoichiometry. All right, unit conversions is another way to do it. You've seen this in algebra. Probably don't remember, but you have seen this. All right. Here's the process you go through to do this. When you set something up like this, what you're going to do is you're going to take all the things across the top and multiply them together. So you're going to take 1 from the miles and you're going to multiply it. I'll do the x times 27878 400. Okay, and then you divide by everything on the bottom by 640, and then you also divide by the 1. Okay, so you multiply all the tops and you multiply all the bottoms, and you'll come out with your number, which in this case, if you look at the book, is 43,560. All right. Now comes the weird part. What you're going to do is you're going to take the units. All right. Oh, I just found out I made a mistake. Did you see it? My mistake is right here. That should be a 2 square miles. Oh my gosh, I am a horrible person. I apologize. Sorry about that. Back on track. Here we go. Notice that there's a miles on the top, a square miles on the top, and a square miles on the bottom. When I have that, I can cancel them out. One on top and one on the bottom, and they cancel. And then all I do is I take all the units from the top and I write them on the top. And the only thing I have left over is square feet on the top, and I do the same for the bottom. Look at all the units on the bottom, and I have acres. So there are 43,560 square feet per acre. All right. Hope that helped a little bit. Let's try problem number 2. It's exactly the same thing. The book is there for you to follow through. Give it a go. If you're a math goddess or a math god, that should flow easily. If not, give it a crack and see if you can do it. Let's go to number 3. When you're done with number 2, start up the video again, and we'll go to number 3. All right, number 3. I'm a little concerned about how they did it in the book. It might confuse you. So, notice what they give you, just like the others. 1 kilometer equals 0.6214 miles. Then they do something weird that they didn't need to do. That next line in the book is strange. Here's how I would have written it. What I think they should have written was 0.61. Whoop, 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 whoop. Not that. 0.6214 miles per 1 kilometer. All right, they should not have put that kilometer part first. Then they should have done times 27,878,400 square feet per 1 square mile. Oops, my goodness, I am just horrible with squares today. I forgot that one, and I forgot that one. My goodness. I apologize, you have such a horrible math teacher. I'm so sorry. Alright, so if we write it like this, this should look like what we did with problem 1 and problem 2. We're going to do exactly the same things. Okay? What I want you to do is multiply everything on top, divide everything by the bottom, and it looks like we're going to take 0.6214 times that big number, 2 blah 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 blah, whatever that is, and we're going to divide by 1 and divide by 1 again. Let's look at what units we get to cancel out. We get to cancel out square miles, and so the number we end up with is 10,764,908, and we end up with what's left over for units, square feet on the top per kilometer on the bottom. So that's how many square feet go into a square kilometer. Okay? Okay, last one. What we'll do is at the beginning of that last line in the do the math, see how they wrote that fraction with just the units in the fraction? Don't let that confuse you. Write it this way. just start the problem off with that number instead of the other one. And notice what we do here. We have two things to write down to make conversions with, essentially. Conversions or to multiply with. Go through and I want you to multiply everything on the top there, divide by everything on the bottom, and you should get 2.47, and then cancel everything on the top with whatever you can on the bottom, and the only thing you're going to end up with is acres per hectare. And again, here's how I'd write the units. I would write them as acres per hectare, like that, like they did all the other units, or like I did. Okay, well, I hope that helped. If not, tell Ms. Marino and I will make a new one of these and we'll work through it again. Hope that went well. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.